So, a self-proclaimed Messiah of God has been dubbed Christian Karen after she approached two young strangers and proceeded to preach to them about how they should live their lives. This video is pretty annoying, infuriating, in fact. Let's take a look at what she had to say to these two young women, and then we'll discuss.
Go to church anywhere? Huh? No. You don't? Do you guys know how to get to heaven? Huh?
I don't know you guys at all.
I know. I just see you guys. You guys aren't like girlfriends, are you?
No, we're cousins.
Okay, alright. Just
But if it was, it's genuinely none of your business.
yeah, you're right. But I just want to let you guys know, because they don't teach you young kids anything about God anymore, that it's not the right way to live. So.
Well, if you force it on somebody, it's not.
No, I'm not forcing it, but the truth's got to be out there, because I know that's.
I mean, I don't know. You kind of came over here out of like nowhere, and like we have like no clue who you are.
Yeah, I know. God told me to come over to talk to you guys.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
All right, girls. God bless. Jesus saves.
Actually.
Oh, my heart is racing.
All right, there's a lot to unpack, a lot. So she just approaches two young women and assumes that they're lesbians?
Yes, that's definitely what she assumed. No question. She's like, she asked them, are you guys girlfriends?
What are you doing?
That's crazy.
What are you doing? God told me to come to you. No, he didn't. Or no one told you to do anything. You just felt like you needed to take it upon yourself to approach strangers and make them feel super creeped out by your creepiness. And also, like, I want to answer, do you know how to get to heaven? Yes. Yes, and it's not having a conversation with you. It's completely ignoring you and what you're trying to do here in basically controlling other people's personal lives while simultaneously making assumptions about what their personal choices are in the first place. What a creep.
Yeah, I hear you, but I couldn't help but be amused. And I was like, oh, please let that be me one day, okay?
No, I can't, I don't have the patience for it.
No, I do. When she said, do you guys know how to get to heaven? I would have been like, oh yeah, definitely. You take a left and then two rights and go past the men's room and it's right there. What kind of a hilarious question is, do you know how to get to heaven, right? And then I was so waiting for her to say, when they're like, no, we're cousins. Kissing cousins? Like, she's mental, right?
The truth needs to be out there, Cenk. The truth needs to be out there.
Yeah.
People need to know. They need to know how to get to heaven.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, God told me to come over here. Okay, first of all, I'm relieved because usually when God talks to people, he tells them to kill someone, right? So like, dodge the bullet over there, man. You're just worried about the directions we need, whether we got heaven GPS. Don't worry, we're on it, okay? So, but look, it's a voice in your head. God is not talking to you, and of course she believes that. But on the other hand, look, another reason why I don't mind is I get tempted to do it, but in the reverse direction. Now, so everybody, hey, Mendoza, Ferrer, and everybody else, start taking notes here. Okay, this will be twisted out of context later.
Going to say, go ahead.
So I'm at an airport already. We're having fun. Okay, and I saw this young girl. I don't know, about 13, 14. I don't know how old she was, but she's reading one of the texts, and I couldn't tell which fundamentalist religion she was in. But she had a head covering and stuff.
Leave her alone.
No, of course I didn't say anything. She's a young girl, and I'm not going to go and talk to a 13-year-old girl and tell her that she's wrong.
No, but even if she was a grown woman or a man, who cares?
No, I know. That's why I didn't do it, and of course I'm not going to do it. But if it was a grown person, and I'll tell you what I thought. I'm like, you're ruining her life. Because she was reading the text, going like, right in the middle of an airport, right?
That's what she was doing?
Yeah, no, but she was, right? That's what they do. Like, they're fundamentalists. I don't know of which religion, and I don't care. None of it is true. You're doing this about Lord of the Rings, Mordor, right? Like, no, don't ruin your life. Go live a life. So I am tempted to say that, right? Now, I happen to be right. But that lady, of course, thinks she's right because God's talking to her. But she wasn't, like, to be fair to her, she wasn't violent. She just stayed there for a minute. Like, she was driven to by the voices in her head, and she's got whatever issues she has. But at the end of the day, like obviously the homophobia is the major problem there. But
the homophobia, but no, it's just the judgment, right? It's using whatever religious texts as cover for being a judgmental person. Okay, holding back a little bit here. The reason why I wouldn't even feel tempted to approach the religious person at the airport reading the religious text or this couple is because I don't care what they do with their personal lives, like not even a little bit, right? As long as they're not harming others, I don't care. Yes, I get what you're saying. Some people grew up in an environment where unfortunately they were basically born into the religion, brainwashed into the religion, whatever it is. But that's their journey and they get to decide how they navigate through that journey. I just can't, first of all, I don't want strangers approaching me and talking to me about my life choices. I don't know you and you don't matter. So how about you buzz off, right? Like I can't stand it. Like it's the judgmental nature of what that woman did. Like the assumptions and the judgmental nature and using religion as cover to be a judgmental person.
Oh yeah, because she didn't approach randos and ask them if they know how to get to heaven, right? She approached them because she thought they were lesbians. That's the judgmental part. That's the part I can't stand. On the other hand, like I said, look, I'm being honest. Like, in a sense, like the reason why I mentioned the teenage girl is because I'm worried that her parents are telling her total, utter nonsense. And she's God knows how many years she's gonna go, how many decades, or maybe her whole life, believing things that aren't remotely true and doing things. So I'm trying to help her, but I still don't do it because of course that's up to the parents.
But you do see that you're the other side of the coin, right?
Yeah, but I'm right, and it makes a big difference.
And that religious woman thought she was right.
No, I totally get it.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's why I'm not judging her as harshly as you are.
So don't use your atheism or you're atheist or agnostic, whatever. Yeah. Don't use your views or your beliefs as cover for being a judgmental prick. You get what I'm saying?
No, but I'm not. So if I go to the parent, right? If I don't go to a grown up and I say it, it's basically too late. And so it is what it is. At the age of 38 or 58, they're less likely to turn around, right? And I just feel bad, like, oh, you already wasted your life because you're not living. You're not like even if you're religious, okay, if you're a person of actual faith, okay, get a load of this crazy idea. What if God gave you life so that you may live it? He gave you this giant, enormous gift called life. Go out there and live it instead of going in a corner and shaking and reading a text for your whole life and being obsessed about it and not actually going out and living the world. But the grown-ups are beyond redemption, and that's why my heart breaks for the young kids who are being brainwashed into that dogma, which is totally and utterly irrational. But I didn't do it, and that's a big difference, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But if someone did it to me in that kind of a friendly, not aggressive, not violent, not physical way, I wouldn't mind it. Just
wants to make sure you know how to get to heaven, that's all.
Yeah. And look, I'm amused by all that stuff. And when people judge me back, in situations like that, I also don't mind. So I'm not hypocritical. I remember talking to a conservative on a plane, and we're getting along, and we're talking about like football and barbecue, and everything is good. And then he finds out, that I'm a Democrat, and he's like, oh, that's a shame. And then we talked about religion, and he found out that I used to be Muslim, and he's like, oh, okay. And oh no, he found out I was an atheist, and he's like, oh, that's a real shame. I said, but I used to be Muslim. He's like, oh, at least that's better. Like, meaning at least you became an atheist and didn't stay a Muslim. And so the reason I tell you that story, I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna punch you because you're anti-atheist or anti-Muslim. I'm like, I just laughed. Like, what am I gonna do with this guy, right?
Yeah.
So just whatever you do not get confrontational, okay? So that's why I'm saying that could have been worse. Yes, it was homophobic and judgmental, and that's the worst part of it, right? But other than that, at least she said it, and then she left.
And then she left, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe don't make assumptions about people based on how they look. Just a thought.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.